Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praise unto Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles of great millstone. Ownership of us to be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. So this is going to be a relatively short video. Lord's will, maybe about 10 minutes long or whatever. And pretty much this is like a video basically going into this society and how the women in this society have a completely different mentality to that of the ancient women. Now, what you find out is within this world, there's a thing called the so-called most important day in a woman's life, and pretty much it's a day of vanity. It's a day. Now, when you go into the scriptures, you find out in the scriptures in the Bible that there was wedding ceremonies, but you also find out within the scriptures that pretty much once you had sex with a particular individual, a particular man, that man was your husband. So the thing of marriage, pretty much the thing of marriage, was a thing of part of the business. It was part of the business transaction between the families, but it wasn't an essential part of the marriage. Now, pretty much what this society caters to, it caters to the woman. That's why you go into the book of Isaiah. It says that what? All my people, they which lead thee cause to err. And it also says that what? Children rule over them, and women are children out there are oppressors, and women rule over them. And that's the Israelite man right down to a T. Because pretty much what they fed into is the mindset that Esau has given unto them, which is the mindset to worship the women. And that might seem like it's an unpopular idea, but pretty much when you read the Bible, okay, which is where this, not this opinion, but rather this standpoint comes from. When you read the Bible, one, it was a book written for men and by men for men. Hence the reason why the Lord himself said within the book of Revelations, the tabernacles of the Most High is with men. Okay. But ultimately, what the scriptures, what you find out within the scriptures, the happiest day within a woman's life was the bearing of children. Now that should be basically that should go without saying. Okay. So pretty much what they say within this so-called society that we live in is woman worship. Because when you really look at it and understand the situation, yeah, it makes sense that the most important day within a woman's life is the childbearing, and it makes sense that the Most High was going to have mercy on particular women for the purposes of bearing children unto the men of the Lord, not so that they could have some fancy wedding in the kingdom or whatever. We wish you could do that if you want to do that. But the reality of the situation is that what? That the Lord says unto the children of Israel that there wasn't going to be any barren amongst them. So the most important day that was going to come about in a woman's life was the bearing of an Israelite man's child. Now ain't that a beautiful, and that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. But here it is, we're living in Babylon. They make it to where children are basically like the end of your career. Okay, that's the end of your life. All right, that's the thing that people put off. But when you go into the scriptures, that's the thing that all the women within the scriptures, that was their one end goal. Okay, their end goal. When you go into the scriptures, you find out that the women in the scriptures, their end goal pretty much was to get kids. All right, if they was of a particular age, that was the one thing that was on their mind. Not some big fancy wedding. All right, or where you get married and after 5 years you take half the man's assets and go over to the next relationship. Okay, if you want to call it that. Now let's start here within the book of Deuteronomy, and all I've done is type barren. This is all I've done. The book of Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, and the 14th verse. It says, "Thou shalt be," Deuteronomy 7:14. It says, "Thou shalt be blessed above all people. They shall not be male or female barren among you," okay, or among the cattle. So the men and the women of the children of Israel, it wasn't supposed to be any barren amongst us, man. It was supposed to be kids being born, man. Okay, let's go into some precept here. Let's start here within the book of Genesis 11 and 30. Is that the one I want to go to? No, that's not the one I want to go to. I want to go to the next one, Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. Okay, let's go into this word entreated. Let's see what he says. All right, to pray, to make supplication. You weren't praying for. I mean, you should get what what I'm trying to say. Supplication, plead. All right, plead. He was He was pleading. So you can only imagine how she was. Okay, and then it goes into the story of Jacob and Esau. All right, continuing. And there's a good story. I'm not going to bring it out now. You could search it out for yourself. All right, there's a particular individual, I forget who his name was, and his woman, pretty much, she was barren. And it would basically, that's the best scripture for this video, because it hits the point, it hits the nail with the hammer, so to speak. Okay, and pretty much the story goes, the man said to the woman, okay, because she was barren and she was upset, he said unto her, look, am I not like unto 10 sons unto you? Because here it is, they teach you within the society, you're supposed to have these married, you're supposed to marry to the state. Okay, most important, a point in a woman's life is this big wedding where you spend where she's the center of attention or whatever. But in the ancient kingdom, the women, they knew their position, man. They knew the role that they had to play, and pretty much they knew that the other women because a man could have more than one wife. When you go into the scriptures, all right, of which now that's not necessarily the most expedient thing to do, but if you do that, you ain't going off. But the reality of the situation is, when you go into the Bible, okay, a man could have more than one woman. So the woman that gives you the most sons, that was gonna be like a precious possession to you, man. Okay, it wasn't this whole spend 20 grand on a woman, and then this chick's gonna leave you in like 24 months. Okay, and like I said, with the example, pretty much what the woman wanted, the main thing that she was on is to have children. Okay, and that's the ancient mentality that's gonna come back upon our own people. Another example, Judges 13 and 2, there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren, and she bare not. Okay, and the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman and said unto her, behold, now thou art barren and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive and bear. And now therefore I pray thee, and bear a son. It says, now therefore beware, I pray thee, drink not wine, no strong drink, eat not any unclean thing, for lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come upon him, because he's a Nazarite unto the Most High from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver the children of Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. And the woman came and told her husband, saying, the man of God came to me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel, very terrible. And I asked from whence he was, neither he told me his name. And he said unto me, behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son. And then, and now drink no wine, no strong drink, neither anything unclean, for the child shall be a Nazarite from the womb. And the more Manoah entreated of the Lord and said unto the Lord, he said, O my Lord, let the man of God which thou didst send come again and teach us what we shall do unto this child that shall be born unto us. Pretty much. And pretty much, their main thing, like I said, was to bear children. Okay. Now that's like I said, the best example. Okay, hold on. What's it say? Give me a second. Okay, so but pretty much what you find out within the scriptures, like to a lot of these women that was barren, okay, the blessing was the children, man, not some fancy wedding, okay, where you are the center of attention. Basically, the main day for women is supposed to be the bearing of the children, man. Okay, now let me finish off with one last precept. All right, saved in childbearing. Okay. All right, and that's what you find out within the scriptures. If I had more time, uh, um, I could get the correct precepts for it. But pretty much the point is made. You get the gist of what I'm trying to say. And if you search out those particular quotes, you're gonna find out the right information that I quoted. Now, 1 Timothy 2:15, it says, "Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, okay, if they continue in faith, in charity, and holiness." So, from the foundations of the earth, pretty much, man, the Most High made the woman to bear children, and that is one of her purposes. But that's one of her main purposes, okay, not to serve herself like this world teaches you, okay. I mean, hopefully that was edifying. With that, I'm gonna say, praise unto Yahweh Shemi Ashai wa Kadash, the bonus unto the apostles, a great millstone. Honestly, brothers, that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.